see all these videos. So, good morning, friends. We are again into the next part of your unit number 2. Today, we will be seeing the remaining part of the selection criteria of the dams from various points of views, like the sites, like the geology, like the topography, like other availability of materials, etc. Then we will see the surveys necessary for carrying out for the dam, planning of the dam. Then we will see the zones of the dam or zones of the reservoir, you can say. Try to complete as much as possible. So another criteria in continuation of our yesterday's lecture regarding the selection of the dam from various points of view. Another criteria is spillway size and location. As you all know, that spillway is an overflow structure, or it is the, you can say, safety valve of the reservoir and dam. Excess water is being allowed to spill, or a way has been made to spill the excess water from the dam. Therefore it is called as the spillway. Only just I have not checked. You can you see the slide and the you can माझा आवाज.
Yes,
हा
sir.
चला ठीक आहे, तेवढंच माझं चेक करायचं राहिलं होतं. So that spillway size, spillway, you have understood now that it carries the excess or the flood water which is more than the capacity of the reservoir. That water is being taken out through the dam. We have earlier in our unit number 1 we have seen how the capacity of dam is fixed. Okay, again in this unit also we have seen that the dam or the reservoir is being created for that much capacity which will satisfy all its need, like the drinking water, like the hydroelectricity, then the industrial water supply, all that need. If it is satisfied and that much capacity of reservoir is being created, dam is built, then due to floods or due to rains, when more than that capacity, when the dam gets filled completely, and when more than that water comes, that is being taken out through the spillway. And this spillway is designed, again hydraulics part is there, designed according to removal or spill of the maximum flood discharge, that is the length of the spillway as well as height of the spillway, because length into height or length into width, you can say, is the area, and area multiplied by the velocity of flow will give you the discharge over the spillway. So the spillway selection or selection of the typical type of the dam for a particular size is sometimes governed by the size and location of the spillway. Size, just I mentioned you. Whenever we provide the gravity dam, and whenever we go for the gravity dam, then generally the overflow section, that is the spillway, and the non-overflow section, as has been shown here, overflow at the center, non-overflow. Then we go for the gravity dam when uh, both these are put together, as well as spillway site is also, as I have told you earlier, as spillway carries huge quantity of the water along with the velocity. So therefore downstream of the spillway or downstream of the dam, that is the river part where we are letting down the flood water, must also be capable of absorbing that discharge and velocity. For that purpose also, to some length we provide energy dissipation arrangement, that we will later on learn. So spillway also depend, spillway size and location will also decide the type of dam to be selected. So gravity dam, OF or spillway along with non-overflow is in that case we go for the gravity dam. If there is no special location to keep the spillway along with the dam, then we go for the earthen dam and we provide the spillway adjacent to the earthen dam. अर्दन डैम के बाजू में कहीं तो भी साइड से हम स्पिलवे प्रोवाइड करते हैं और वहां से ये ज्यादा का पानी निकाल लेते हैं. ठीक है. अगेन एज आई हैव टोल्ड यू देयर आर वेरियस टाइप्स ऑफ द स्पिलवेज दैट विल बी लर्निंग. यानी स्पिलवे नहीं है, स्पिलवे प्रोवाइड करने के लिए जगह नहीं है, तो डैम के अंदर से भी स्पिलवे प्रोवाइड कर सकते हैं. वो कौन से है, साइफन स्पिलवेज एक्सेट्रा, दैट विल बी लर्निंग. देन इन दैट केस वी गो फॉर द ग्रेविटी डैम. So, along with earthen dam, if we have to provide, we can provide the spillway adjacent to dam. If we want to provide the earthen dam and spillway at the center of the earthen dam, then the spillway is joined to earthen dam along with the divide wall. एक डिवाइड वॉल रहती है, वो डिवाइड वॉल अर्दन डैम और स्पिलवे को डिवाइड करते हैं, इसलिए उसको डिवाइड वॉल बोलते हैं, या जॉइंट एबटमेंट भी बोल सकते हैं आप, विच एबट्स और कनेक्ट्स द स्पिलवे अलोंग विद द अर्दन डैम. ऐसा दोनों साइड से देते हैं और बाद में बीच में स्पिलवे करते हैं. तो स्पिलवे के लिए earthquake hazards, another factor needed to decide which type of the dam. In this, because India is divided into the 4 seismic zones, you all know, and according to the those seismic zones 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., so we can decide which type of the dam is to be provided in more seismic prone or earthquake zone area. Generally, the earthen or the rockfill dams are susceptible or suitable for the earthquake hazards. They can be repaired, they can readjust themselves. But that doesn't mean that we don't go for the gravity dam or the rigid dams. By providing certain earthquake loads, etc., certain safety factors, we can go for the gravity dam or the rigid dams. Climatic condition is another factor which covers which types of the dam is to be taken. In extremely cold climate, buttresses and arch dams should be avoided or not provided. जहाँ पे बहुत ठंडा क्लाइमेट है, बहुत ही हिमालयन एरिया है, बर्फ ही बर्फ है या टेम्परेचर है, क्योंकि व्हाट हैपेंस ड्यू टू द कोल्ड, the very low temperature may go sometimes up to minus 40 degrees, 50 degrees. The concrete sections get shrinked and there are certain cracks formed into the concrete, and spalling of the concrete also takes place due to this uneven volume changes of the concrete. That is the alternate freezing and thawing, and that spalling results into cracks, into the exposure of the reinforcement, and ultimately failure of the dam. So we go for the gravity dams, etc. Generally we avoid the buttress and arch dams there, but again these are not the exceptions. Sometimes with very due precautions and the latest technology we can go for these dams, but these are the only the general guidelines. Certain area, as yesterday we talked, like the northeast area, India's northeast portion, where constant and frequent rains are there, and the climate is always wet or moist, then there we will not go for the earthen dams, because earthen dams are made up of the soil and they are very much susceptible to the damage due to continuous or the frequent rains. And if the climate is wet, because the soil will absorb all the water, its pores will be filled, and the shear resistance of the soil will be reduced, ultimately resulting into the failure of the dam. ठीक है. मैं जो बातें बोलता हूँ उसके तरफ अच्छे से ध्यान देते जाइए, क्योंकि ये shear resistance यानी क्या है, shear failure यानी क्या है ना. फ्रिक्शन जब कम हो जाता है बिटवीन सॉइल पार्टिकल्स ड्यू टू द अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ वाटर, due to the moisture and wet conditions surrounding that soil, So that water acts as a lubricant between the soil particles, and that lubricant reduces the shear strength or resistance of the soil particle to hold each other, and that results into the failure of the dam. So please go into the technical details, or just think in that direction. Don't much go into the details, but your thought process should be developed. Diversion problems, sometimes, as I have told you, that certain hilly areas are there, because for construction of the dam we need that the water needs to be diverted by certain means, by providing the channels, by providing the tunnels, etc. Because in presence of water we cannot carry out the construction activity, we cannot do the earthwork, we cannot do the concrete work. So therefore, if the suitable tunnel is located on any flank or abutment, it has to be passed over the partly constructed dam when the construction done in the other part. In such case, earthen dam cannot be provided. We go for the gravity or concrete dam. The choice will be more in favor of the gravity dam or any other type of the dam, concrete dams. Whenever diversion problem is there, then we can go for the gravity or the concrete dam. We generally don't go for the earthen dam, because if that diversion gets choked, or if that diversion does not works properly, sometimes tunnels, etc., tunnels, all the channels, then the dam will not get damaged. Certain environmental conditions also holds which type of the dam is to be used. This is again a rare point, does not hold 200%, because uh, if everything is satisfied, foundation, all its abutments, anchoring, spillway, etc., then we can think of this. Else this does not have that much meaning. The only point in this is that this dam and its appurtenant works, धरण और उसके जो भी पार्ट है, वो वो वहाँ का जो फॉरेस्ट या एटमॉस्फेयर है उसमें वो फिट हो जाना चाहिए, ऐसा इसमें कहने का मतलब है. This dam and appurtenant work should be aesthetically acceptable. So generally we go in this case the for the earthen dam, but that doesn't mean that concrete and the gravity dam are not suitable. Only this is from the aesthetical or architectural acceptance by the surrounding environment. That is the only consideration here. Roadway, sometimes like the dams which are constructed in the hilly area, in the mountainous area, due to the submergence, the roadways get submerged into the submerged water. जो रोड रेगुलर माउंटेन या हिली एरिया में रहते हैं वो धरण के पानी में डूबते हैं. तो ऐसे वक्त में क्या करते हैं कि द रोड इज प्रोवाइडेड ओवर दैट डैम from one bank to another. Then in such case, to provide the required suitable road width, maybe a highway, maybe a district way, maybe a village way, we go for the gravity dam or the arch dam or buttresses dam. We generally don't go for the earthen dam. Okay. uh, then length and height of the dam. If length of the dam is great and height is low, we can go for the earthen dam, better than the gravity dam. On the other hand, if the length is small and height is great, we go for the gravity dam. Life of the dam, naturally concrete dams have more life as compared to earthen or rockfill dam. So whenever life of the dam factor comes into account, then definitely we will go for the concrete or the arch dams or the gravity dams. But nowadays we have so much improved technology, so much proper maintenance, etc., that we go for the earth combination of earth and the gravity dam, and that lasts for more than 50, 60, 80 years. again depends on the maintenance. Other miscellaneous considerations for acceptance of the dam, type of the dam: if in the vicinity of the dam site earth moving machines are cheaply available, then we can go for the earthen dam. If there are mixing plants, batching plants, crushing plants, etc. nearby the site of the dam, then we can go for the gravity dam or buttress dam. Likewise, if cheap labor is locally available, a masonry or the earthen dam or any type of the dam can be preferred as compared to the concrete dam. Okay, again, these are the factors which governs in addition to availability of material, that which type of the machinery, which types of the equipments, which types of the crushing plants, which types of the quarries, etc. Availability of labor is again important point. So here almost we have covered all points from the point of view of the selection of the dam from various aspects. Now we will move into the important part, that is what are the various investigations needed for the reservoir planning. Okay, we are slowly moving into the subject, technical aspects of all points. We have seen earlier that for planning the reservoir, which types of the requirements, etc., are to be taken into account, which type of the dam, which type of the reservoir. Then we have seen various types of the dam. Then we have seen the site requirements from the selection of dam point of view. And then we have seen the selection of the dam from various sites point of view or from various other points of view, from geological, hydrological, site, labor, machinery, uh, earthquake, etc. Now we will move into the various investigations or the surveys needed for reservoir planning. There are mainly three investigations carried out. First is engineering investigation, second is geological investigation, and third is hydrological investigation. You can see in this sketch or in these photographs, corresponding to these, what are the various photos there. The engineering surveys, you can see the total station theodolite, all the level, etc. So with the help of this, we can carry out the engineering surveys, we can carry out the leveling, we can carry out the surveying of the dam site, along with the submergence, along with the downstream command area. Engineering surveys plays a very important and priority role. Then the second one is geological investigation, because based on this geological investigation, we will decide which type of the dam is to be provided. Because in the foundation of the dam, if it has got good hard rock foundation, then we can go for the any type of dam. If we don't have good foundation, we have soil, sand, etc., then we can not go for the gravity dam, arch dam. We can go for the earthen dam. So in this adjacent photo, you can see the geological investigation part with the help of equipment taking the bore into the soil. And on the very extreme right, you can see the indication or photographs of the hydrological investigations. Again, hydrological investigations involves the study of the catchment area or the command area, the rainfall, the runoff, the surface runoff, subsurface runoff, the base flow. Okay, that will give us exactly how much quantity of water is available for storing into the dam, because we are expending crores of the rupees. So we cannot construct a oversized dam, or we cannot construct a undersized dam according to the availability of water. Again, it will be my request to all of you to please go into the sometimes I explain you. So try to understand those things. And if possible, if you could write in your notebook, they will be helpful to you in your future. So first is engineering surveys. As I have told you, the area of the dam site, along with its submergence, that is the catchment area or the submergence, not exactly catchment area because catchment area is quite huge, but submergence is small. So dam site area including submergence as well as downstream command area. We have learned what is the meaning of the command area, gross command area, culturable command area. All that survey needed to be done. So survey includes surveying, that is chaining, pegging, the rods and the flags, etc., as well as leveling with the help of total station, dumpy levels, etc. And for the surveying, you need the chain or the tape, the pegs, the rods. Okay, these are needed for the surveying. And the leveling means with the help of the levels, either the leveling instrument or nowadays the total station theodolites. So with the help of these surveys, engineering surveys, uh, what we can do, we can plot this all according to the scale, and we can prepare the contour plans. You all have learnt about the contours. Okay, so contour plan of whole area, that is the dam site, the upstream of the dam submergence and downstream of the dam, that is the command area. From the plan now, the following physical characteristics are prepared. Which are they? They are very important. Not the knowledge of this or understanding of these four things are important not only from exam point of view but also from your future understanding point of view. So with the help of, I will again repeat, with the help of the surveying and leveling, we will plot the contour plan. Okay, you all, I think you are conversant with the contours. Okay, these are the lines joining equal levels as the dam site, the submergence and the downstream, that is the command area. The topography cannot be plain, it will have the uneven undulability. Okay, uh, therefore the contour plan needed to be plotted. Again, it will decide the suitable site selection for the dam. Area elevation curve are plotted. We will learn what are they. When the dam site is fixed, means construction of the dam location on the river is fixed, then on upstream side of the dam the survey is being done, the contours are plotted of the submergence area, and from that, according to the various areas between the contour, with the help of the planimeter, आपने planimeter पढ़ा है, तो हर कंटूर के अंदर का एरिया प्लानीमीटर से निकालना है या एनी अदर मीन्स. Okay, because we plot it according to certain scale, we can find the area inside the contour, and with the help of the area inside the contour and with the elevation, that is with the height, because every contour will have certain height, we can find the area and the elevation curve as well as volume and elevation curve, because we are ultimately interested in the volume of water that has been stored into the dam, which is called as the storage elevation curve, volume elevation curve or storage elevation curve, area elevation curve, map of the area to indicate land property to be surveyed. In a number of times, various properties come under the submergence of the dam, like the cities or the villages, etc. And suitable site selection for the dam is very important. All these 4 points. Just a gentle information I will tell you, that in the Gosekhurd dam, because all of us are living nearby Nagpur and maximum of you live near Pauni or the Wainganga river. So Gosekhurd dam, almost 80 villages. Can you imagine? Almost 80 villages has submerged into the Gosekhurd dam or Gosekhurd reservoir. So how much big map or how much big survey would have been required for that dam, you can understand or you can imagine. Okay, now let us move into the area elevation curve. Friends, I have already told you that the command area and the submergence area survey needed to be done. Surveying, I just recall you, surveying and leveling. So with the help of the surveying and leveling, the it is plotted. One of the example of the contours plotted is shown on your screen. It is also given in your notes also, and it is available in any of your textbook, just for the study's sake only. This is a particular example. It is not standard for all types of the dam. Okay, so it is plotted. You can see various contours are there. As you can see, I have shown here the contours on this, just for example, 110, 120, 130, 140, and at the center 150, just on your right side of the screen. So that shows that there is one hillock on this side. Okay, all the contours are increasing at the center, यानी कोई तो भी पहाड़ी है यहाँ पे. वैसे ही लेफ्ट साइड में भी आपको दिखेगा कि ये कंटूर बढ़ते जा रहे हैं. फ्रॉम लोअर वैल्यू, फ्रॉम 100 टू इट इज गोइंग टू 100 and 150. Means from on left side also there is certain hillock, and in between this river is flowing. Between these two hills the river is flowing, and therefore we have decided to construct a dam here. Therefore it is shown by the dam site. Okay, so in future we will be constructing a dam, providing certain height to it according to again all the surveys. And after fixing the height, you can see on in the contour plan, with the help of the hatching, the submergence area. ठीक है, कितना डैम का पानी यहाँ पे अपस्ट्रीम में सबमर्ज होगा, कौन से हाइट तक के सबमर्ज होगा, वो यहाँ बताया गया है with the help of the contour map. Okay, just slowly try to understand, try to get the things. So between the various contours, like the contour number 100, contour number 90, कंटूर 80, कंटूर 70 है ना, जैसे जैसे हम नदी के तरफ जाएंगे वैसे वैसे द कंटूर विल गो ऑन लोअरिंग. एज वी मूव अवे फ्रॉम द रिवर, है ना, तो हम ऊंचाई में जाएंगे तो कंटूर नेचुरली बढ़ते जाएगा. तो जस्ट एग्जाम्पल यहाँ पे बताया गया है फॉर एग्जाम्पल टू अंडरस्टैंड. So the areas between different contours are worked out. The area of the 90 contour, the area between the 100 contour, area between the 110 contour, area between 120, etc. And these areas are given A1, A2, A3, etc. Enclosed in successive contours can be determined with the help of the planimeter, or can be you found out with the help of the ग्राफ शीट्स आल्सो. ओके, एनी ऑफ द मेथड वी कैन अप्लाई. लेकिन बहुत बड़ा ये मैप रहता है तो इसको प्लानीमीटर के सिवाय दूसरा कोई ये नहीं है. एंड दोस प्लानीमीटर्स आई थिंक यू मस्ट हैव लर्नड इन योर सर्वेइंग एंड लेवलिंग पार्ट इन योर थर्ड और फोर्थ सेम. ठीक है, तो लेकिन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, इसलिए मैंने आपको बोला कि हमारा जो ब्रेड एंड बटर सब्जेक्ट है, जैसे ये इरिगेशन है वैसे सर्वेइंग एंड लेवलिंग भी है. ठीक है, तो ये एरिया निकालने के बाद में, है ना, जस्ट इमेजिन इंस्टेड ऑफ दिस कंटूर्स आप एखादे डैम ऊपर से देख रहे हैं, ऐसा समझिए. ये डैम का फोटोग्राफ है और ऊपर से देख रहे हैं, तो नेचुरली सबसे ऊपर की जो पानी की लेवल है, जो पानी दिख रहा होगा बाउंड्री, दैट इज द वाटर अवेलेबल इन दैट डैम एट द हाईएस्ट लेवल, at the highest contour. क्योंकि वाटर ऑलवेज ऑक्युपाइज द सेम लेवल, ये हमने फ्लूइड मैकेनिक्स में पढ़ा है. और जैसे जैसे यहाँ का पानी की लेवल कम कम होते जाएगी तो वैसे वैसे इट विल अटेन द लोअर एंड लोअर कंटूर. और पूरा डैम जब एकदम नीचे में आ जाएगा, कम लेवल पे आएगा, कम पानी रहेगा, तो सबसे नीचे की जो लेवल है रिवर बेड लेवल, वहां का कंटूर तक वो पानी रहेगा वो डैम में, ऐसा समझेंगे आप. सो आई थिंक यू हैव अंडरस्टूड दैट द लोएस्ट लेवल अगेन हायर, अगेन हायर, अगेन हायर आर द कंटूर लेवल्स and the area corresponding to it, water sprayed area. That water sprayed area is nothing but the area enclosed into the contours. And if in this way we find out the areas A1, A2, A3 according to the different contours, then we can plot a graph between the level and between the area. Okay, as well as we have seen, as the value of the contour increases, its area will increase. Okay, as the water level or the contour value increases, just excuse me, that is the elevation increases, the submergence area will increase. Now we will move on to the area elevation curve. On x-axis, the area is plotted, and on y-axis, the elevation is plotted. Okay, area on x-axis, and on y-axis, the elevation is plotted, or the contour levels are contour values are plotted. So corresponding to the increase in volume, increase in the elevation, the area will increase. So on your right side of the screen, you can see the area elevation curve. As the elevation increases from 0 to above on the left side, and area, it is shown on the top x-axis. As the area increases, or as the contour level increases, the area will increase. In the same way, between the various areas, we can find the volume. है ना? A1 plus A2 divided by 2, average area multiplied by the difference in levels of the contours. 110 का एक कंटूर है, 111 का एक कंटूर है. 110 के कंटूर की एरिया हमको मालूम है ना, प्लानीमीटर से निकाला. 111 का कंटूर है, वो कंटूर पे भी कितनी सबमर्जेंस एरिया है वो हम निकाल सकते हैं प्लानीमीटर से. तो दोनों एरिया की टोटल करके एवरेज किया तो हमें मिलेगा एवरेज एरिया, और एवरेज एरिया मल्टीप्लाइड बाय द हाइट, that is difference in contour level, that is 1 meter, then it will give you the volume. So in this way we can find out the volumes for the different contour level, okay, for the different elevations or for different contour values, and we can plot a graph also. Again, at the bottom x-axis we have shown the volume against the contour elevation. As the contour elevation increases, the volume also increases. So this area elevation curve and volume elevation curve, or that is called as the storage elevation curve, these two curves play a very important role into the planning of the reservoir, because these holds, or these will give you that at different levels how much volume of water is available in the dam, as well as it also gives, or it can, with the help of these two graphs, we can finalize the quantity of water that can be served, or that can be stored into the dam or the reservoir, or it will fix the reservoir capacity. So the reservoir capacity correspond. I think you all must have understood the importance and the meaning of area elevation curve and the that volume elevation or storage elevation curve. You must have learnt. Just I have told you how to find out the area, how to find out the volume between various uh, contours. So the we you have learned somewhere the various formulas. Okay, trapezoidal formula, the prismoidal formula. Just a revision of that. How to find out the volume between two contours. Okay, just I have told you A1 plus A2 divided by 2 into the height, or A1 plus A2 into h by 2. Again, for the various areas, the values are uh, various areas are there. Then the total volume V is equal to h by 2, that is contour interval divided by 2, multiplied by A1 plus an A1 and a first area, An is the last area, plus 2 times A2, A3 plus and so on up to An minus 1. So this is called as the trapezoidal formula. So volume is equal to common distance or common elevation divided by 2 multiplied by first area divided by last section area plus 2 times sum of the other sectional areas. Okay. Uh, Please try to understand. There is another formula which is also called as the cone formula, which gives you total volume uh, of the reservoir up to certain level. जो भी A1 A2 है तो दो एरिया में से h/3 summation of h/3 into A1 plus A2 plus square root of A1 A2. The Prismoidal formula you are well aware with. V is equal to h, that is the contour interval h/3 है ना. यदि 110 111 112 113 ऐसे कंटूर है तो कंटूर इंटरवल इज 1 मीटर. 110 का एरिया A1 है, 115 का AN है, तो A1 प्लस AN h/3 इंटू AN प्लस A1 प्लस AN प्लस 4 टाइम्स even areas A2 plus A4 plus A6 plus 2 times odd areas, that is A3 plus A5 plus A7 etc. So this is the prismoidal area. Again, to find out the reservoir capacity, reservoir storage or volume between the contours, directly or indirectly. So volume is equal to common distance by 3 multiplied by area of first section plus last section A1 plus AN plus 4 times sum of the areas of even section plus 2 times sum of the areas of the odd section, where AN is the area of contour corresponding to AN, yani A1, A2, A3, A4 etc. are the area of contour corresponding to water surface area elevation in the proposed reservoir. The volume of storage corresponding to various water surface elevation can be calculated, and a curve as we have just discussed, that is between elevation and storage or elevation between and volume, this is plotted. So this curve is called as area capacity, area volume, area elevation or volume elevation. It is also called as area capacity curve. Three names are there. The one is area capacity, another is area elevation, and the another is volume elevation curve. ठीक है. तो ये स्टोरेज कैपेसिटी ऐसा भी बोलते हैं उसको. So this is in short about all this. With the help of all this, we can determine the area of the submergence, the compensation paid to the owners. इसके हिसाब से हमें बहुत यूज होता है. इससे डैम की कैपेसिटी निकालते हैं, कितना लैंड जाने वाला है वो पता होता है, तो वी कैन सी दैट हाउ मच विलेजेस आर सबमर्जिंग. कोई गांव जा रहा है क्या, किसी का घर जा रहा है क्या, है ना. ये एरिया से, स्प्रेड एरिया से, तो उस पर से कितने लोगों को कितना कॉम्पेंसेशन वगैरह देना है वो भी हम डिसाइड कर सकते हैं. और बाकी कितनी खेती जा रही है, कुछ जा रहा है क्या, वो खेती का भी कॉम्पेंसेशन देना पड़ता है. इन एडिशन टू दिस, द कैपेसिटी ऑफ द डैम is also found out with the help of this area capacity curve, area elevation, capacity elevation curve also it is called as, and how it is plotted and done we have seen. We will move into the next, that is the geological investigation. As we have seen, this geological investigation includes the type of the strata that is available below the ground in view of the providing the foundation to the dam, as well as whether the water tightness of the upstream of the reservoir is there. Okay, so this is geological investigation most essential. Cost very little, इसका खर्चा बहुत कम आता है as compared to total cost of the project, but valuable assurance against expensive difficulties unforeseen, है ना. आगे में कुछ तकलीफ ना आए, फाउंडेशन अच्छा रहा तो डैम के फाउंडेशन से लीकेज नहीं होगा, अपन ग्रेविटी डैम दे सकते हैं. अपस्ट्रीम में स्ट्राटा अच्छा है, या कहीं कभी कभी कंस्ट्रक्शन मटेरियल भी हमें लगता है, कोई वेदर वी हैव द बोल्डर्स एक्सेट्रा, रॉक इज अवेलेबल. So all these can be obtained with the help of the geological investigation. Water tightness of the reservoir basin can be found out. The geology of the catchment area is to be studied. Geology of the reservoir site, no danger of the serious leakage. And by knowing all the taking the bore holes, etc., and by knowing the type of the strata, water tightness of the reservoir basing, as well as type of the dam to be provided, suitability of foundation for the dam, which type of the, whether we have a hard rock good foundation, we can go for the gravity dam. Geological and structural features such as the folds, faults, fissures, whether these are available, and if these are available, which type of the treatment needed, so as to avoid the difficulties or problems due to these unwanted features like the folds, faults, or the fissures. टाइप एंड डेप्थ ऑफ द ओवरबर्डन. ओवरबर्डन यानी हार्ड रॉक के ऊपर में जो सॉइल रहती है उसको ओवरबर्डन बोलते हैं. तो ये ओवरबर्डन कितना है नीचे में स्ट्राटा वगैरह के हिसाब से वो भी हमें पता चलता है. लोकेशन ऑफ परमिएबल एंड सोल्यूबल रॉक, ग्राउंड वाटर कंडीशन है ना, कितना पानी एक आधे बार फाउंडेशन से हमें डी वाटरिंग करना पड़ सकता है. Location of the quarry sites for the material required for the dam construction and quantities available for them. These are the things we get from the geological investigations. Then we will move on to the hydrological investigations. Geological investigations include, what are the methods involved in geological investigations? They are taking the boreholes, excavating the pits, okay, taking the sample, sending it to laboratory, finding the bearing capacity of the rock, okay, knowing the uh, availability of the fissures, folds, faults, etc., from the expert geologist. So that is all the geological investigation. Now the hydrological investigation. Again, as the word hydrology comes, means it is related to the quantity of the water that is available into the river at the dam site. So what is needed then? What are the necessity requirement then for hydrological investigation? First and foremost is the study of the catchment area. Okay, because the capacity of irrigation canal or installed capacity of powerhouse will depend upon the available supplies from the reservoir. So डैम कैपेसिटी डिसाइड करने के लिए ये हाइड्रोलॉजिकल इन्वेस्टिगेशन जरूरी है. अब ये हाइड्रोलॉजिकल इन्वेस्टिगेशंस में क्या इंक्लूड है? इट इंक्लूड्स द स्टडी ऑफ द कैचमेंट एरिया, it includes the cross sectional area of the river at the dam site, that is quantity of water that will flow through the river. It includes the, from the rainfall, how much runoff is available, surface runoff, subsurface runoff, okay, over and all how much the account of quantity of the water flowing through the river and that will reach to the reservoir, that hydrological investigations will decide. The hydrological investigations may be divided into two heads, which are the study of the runoff pattern at the proposed dam site to determine storage capacity corresponding to given demand, है ना. यानी रन ऑफ कितना आता है साल में, वो रन ऑफ निकालना है हमें. ओके, we have learnt about the hydrograph in our hydrology, that is the graph between the duration or time versus the quantity of discharge into the river. So with the help of the hydrology we can plot this flood hydrograph. Okay, so study of runoff pattern at the proposed dam site to determine storage capacity corresponding to demand. यानी डिमांड समझो 1000 मीटर क्यूब पानी की है, लेकिन उतना पानी यदि हमारे पास में है तो इट्स वेरी वेल एंड गुड in the river due to, with the available cross section and the rainfall. पानी कहाँ से आएगा रिवर में? ड्यू टू द प्रेसिपिटेशन और रेनफॉल. if the rainfall is insufficient there cannot be more water, and if the more water is not there then it will not fulfill the required demand. तो इसलिए ये हाइड्रोलॉजिकल स्टडी बहुत जरूरी है. डिटर्मिनेशन ऑफ द हाइड्रोग्राफ ऑफ द वर्स्ट फ्लड टू डिटरमाइन द स्पिलवे कैपेसिटी एंड डिजाइन, है ना जी. जैसे द अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ वाटर इन टू द रिवर फॉर द होल ईयर including the rainy season, as well as the maximum quantity of water or surface runoff which is called as the flood. That study also is needed because it will determine that how much water is to be flown over the spillway. That is spillway capacity and its design also depends on the hydrological study. So now into the next part. So we have completed the three investigations: the hydrological investigation, the geological investigation, and the surface survey investigation. Okay, so three types of the investigations we have finished. Now we are moving into the next part and very important part, which is the reservoir storage zone and uses of the reservoir. है ना, डैम का ये सेक्शन यहाँ पे बताया गया है. You can see on the right side there is a cross section of a dam, that is नॉन ओवरफ्लो सेक्शन, NOF. और ये NOF में यहाँ पे बीच में ऐसा डॉटेड एक लाइन बताई है नीचे में, which is shown as the spillway crest level. Okay, so in against this dam, against this wall, either this non overflow section or overflow section made up of either concrete, masonry, or adjacent to it, it is made up of the earth also. Okay, this section is particularly for the concrete and masonry, लेकिन उसके बाजू में अर्दन डैम भी हो सकता है. तो ये डैम के जो वाटर स्टोर्ड है इसके अपस्ट्रीम में, है ना, ये डैम है. ऑन द लेफ्ट साइड इज द वाटर स्टोर्ड और वाटर सबमर्जेंस ऑन द राइट साइड, दैट इज द डाउनस्ट्रीम साइड. ऐसा जनरली कन्वेंशन है. जब वेन एवर वी प्लॉट द क्रॉस सेक्शन ऑफ द डैम, we show on the left side the water stored, or that is we call it as the upstream side, and on the right side we show the downstream part where the river becomes dry due to the construction of the dam. Okay, so this is in short the cross section of the dam you can see. Now on the left side you can see various conventions or various levels given. The top of the dam is shown on the left side. At the top we will move from top to bottom. So top of the dam, then you will see there is one written as MWL. Okay, it is called as the maximum water level. यानी ये डैम में ज्यादा से ज्यादा ये लेवल तक के पानी जमा कर सकते हैं या पानी रह सकता है. Okay, according to the reservoir capacity, according to the water stored into the dam, as well as the flood, this is the maximum level that has been fixed. And above this level, some height of the dam is provided to accommodate so that the water should not flow over the dam. डैम के ऊपर से पानी बह के नहीं जाना चाहिए, इसलिए ये इतनी प्रोविजन रहती है मैक्सिमम वाटर लेवल के ऊपर में. इसको फ्री बोर्ड करके बोलते हैं. इट इज कॉल्ड एज द फ्री बोर्ड. दैट इज टॉप ऑफ द डैम. डैम टॉप लेवल भी बोलते हैं उसके. ओके, टॉप ऑफ द डैम and the maximum water level in between, the provision is called as the freeboard. Okay, now we will move forward, we will move downward. MWL के नीचे टॉप ऑफ द फ्लड कंट्रोल लेवल, यानी फ्लड जो आएगा ज्यादा से ज्यादा वो फ्लड यहां तक के जाना चाहिए, ये लेवल तक के, उस हिसाब से डैम की हाइट डिसाइड होती है. लेकिन थोड़ा ज्यादा का भी पानी आया इन केस ऑफ द अनप्रेसिडेंटेड unexpected flood, then we can accommodate up to MWL. But the maximum top of the flood control level is also shown here. Below that, FRL, that is full reservoir level. It is top of the conservation storage. Okay, FRL, its long form is full reservoir level, FRL. डैम में जो परमानेंट या जो मैक्सिमम पानी स्टोर्ड रहेगा वो FRL तक रहेगा. FRL के ऊपर में पानी स्टोर करने की कैपेसिटी है, लेकिन ये जो FRL है, दिस विल आल्सो बी द टॉप ऑफ द गेट्स ऑफ द डैम. डैम के जो गेट्स रहते हैं उसकी टॉप ये FRL तक के रहती है. ओके, सो FRL इज द फुल रिजर्वायर लेवल अप टू विच वी विल स्टोर द वाटर इनटू द डैम. इसके ऊपर में यदि पानी बढ़ गया बरसात में, when the water is flowing over the spillway, we will accommodate up to MWL, but not for the whole remaining 8 months the water will not be stored up to MWL, but it will be stored up to FRL, full reservoir level. Below full reservoir level, we will move again downwards. There is one level written spillway crest level. Okay, spillway crest level. यानी spillway जो रहता है, the spillway over which the flood water spills, or spillway, as I have told you, it is the safety wall of the dam. बरसात का जो फ्लड का पानी रहता है वो इसके ऊपर से, क्योंकि ज्यादा पानी इसके ऊपर में MWL के ऊपर में हम एकोमोडेट नहीं कर सकते. Thus, by studying the inflow and the rainfall, we will allow the flood water to flow over the spillway. So therefore, it is called as the spillway crest level. ठीक है, one of the very important level. Spillway crest level, full reservoir level, maximum water level, top of the dam level. Okay. Now we will move on to the bottom again level, which is called as the MDDL, maximum drawdown level. You can write down in your notebook somewhere what are the long forms. FRL full reservoir level, MDDL maximum drawdown level. और ये इसके नीचे आपने देखा होगा कि एक पेन स्टॉक है भाई. MDDL के नीचे देयर इज वन पेन स्टॉक, और यू कैन से गेट इज देयर. ओके, ये गेट को यहाँ पे एक दरवाजा रहता है जिसको रिवर्स स्लुइस बोलते हैं, जो डैम के ऊपर से उसका कंट्रोलिंग रहता है. सो थ्रू दिस रिवर्स स्लुइस यानी खिड़की या दरवाजा, तो ये खिड़की में से पानी जाता है, ये पेन स्टॉक में से, या जो रास्ता बनाया है इसमें से. सो द वाटर फ्लोज विच इज स्टोर्ड इनटू द डैम. सो and this is allowed to go into the canals. Okay, canals or into the river. कैनाल में जाता है ये, या रिवर में जाता है, या यहाँ पे एक आधा जनरेटर भी लगाते हैं, और जनरेटर लगा के इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जनरेट हो गई के बाद में दिस वाटर गोज टू द कैनाल. सो इन दिस डैम there is MDDL, maximum drawdown level. Up to this only the water is allowed to fall, or water is left through the dam. ये डैम में से सिर्फ MDDL तक के ही पानी छोड़ा जाता है इरिगेशन करने के लिए या हाइड्रो इलेक्ट्रिक जनरेशन के लिए. लेकिन इसका मतलब MDDL के नीचे पानी रहता नहीं है, ऐसा नहीं है. दैट वाटर इज, दैट लेवल इज कॉल्ड एज द डेड स्टोरेज लेवल, DSL. Then what is the use of the provision made between MDDL and dead storage level? This much water is there which can be used in emergency. यदि कहीं एखादे नजीक आजू बाजू के गांवों को ड्रिंकिंग पर्पस के लिए वगैरह चाहिए, so this much storage, buffer storage is put, MDDL और डेड स्टोरेज लेवल है ना. यह इमरजेंसी में कभी छोड़ देते हैं यदि एक दो साल बारिश ही नहीं आई तो. लेकिन वाटर इज अलाउड टू लीव थ्रू द डैम अप टू MDDL ओनली, डेड स्टोरेज लेवल. और ये डेड स्टोरेज लेवल के नीचे में भी कोई प्रोविजन रहती है डैम में, इट इज देयर टू स्टोर द सिल्ट, क्योंकि ये धरण में सिल्ट आती है बरसात के पानी के साथ में, फ्लड के साथ में. सो दैट सिल्ट इज स्टोर्ड in this portion. So some provision is made into the volume of the dam to accommodate the silt that is coming into the dam through the various means. Okay, so again this is the good sketch from your Punmiya book, or maybe Santosh Kumar Garg book. This is the spillway now. Earlier we have seen non-overflow section. Now here you can see against the overflow section. This is the gate provided over the spillway. This is the maximum pool level or the maximum water level. This is the surcharge storage, or up to which the water is stored up to spillway crest. ये दरवाजे के ऊपर में above the gate some water is stored, that is maximum water level MWL. Surcharge storage, then the useful storage. Okay, just we remain to understand. Between the FRL and MDDL, it is called as the active storage. Okay, FRL and MDDL between full reservoir level and dead storage level is called as the live storage. Okay, and the remaining between MDDL and dead storage is called as the buffer storage. Three storage we have learned: active storage, live storage, and buffer storage. And again, what are the latest norms that we will see in the next lecture to come, है ना, कल के इसमें हम मैक्सिमम कवर करने का ट्राई करेंगे नेक्स्ट लेक्चर. So all this, I again request you to please go through the notes, to please go through the lectures and go through the notes. Then and only then you will understand all these reservoir, various storage zones, etc. And then in the last part, which is regarding the inflow of the silt. Okay. So today we will take the break.